Hello, my fellow awakening souls. I hope you all have been well despite the state of the world. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about affirmations and how powerful of a tool it is in your manifestation journey in creating the reality or experiencing the reality that you desire to experience. So you see, everybody will relate to you according to the ideas that you have about yourself. And I'm going to keep saying that because you have to get this ingrained in the mind. So if in your mind, being broke is normal, being poor is normal, being, all men are trash or all women are trash is your normal way of thinking. If, lack and limitation is a normal thing for you, if that's your normal, if that's what you believe about yourself to be normal or about others, that is exactly what you will experience. That is exactly how others will treat you. So if you believe yourself to be poor or being poor is normal where you're from, then you will attract nothing but lack and limitation into your life. You won't attract wealthy experiences. You won't attract abundance. You'll be keeping those things away from you due to your way of thinking. Because your way of thinking decides your way of being. It decides your reality that you experience. And sometimes you don't even realize that the good that you're keeping away from you is due to your own thinking, because we do it so unconsciously. And so you see, a lot of us need to change our thinking. We need to change our way of being. We need to change the thoughts that are in the mind, or to transform them into more positive thoughts, more prosperous thoughts, and that's where affirmations come in. So before we dive any deeper into affirmations, let's discuss what is an affirmation. An affirmation is sentences or words that we say to ourselves to help us reprogram our subconscious mind. Because a lot of us, little do we know, we have been being programmed subconsciously or unconsciously to think certain things. And so some of our ways of thinking are results of our culture, our country, our family, our interactions with people, the TV shows we watch. It's so many different things that has played a role in our way of thinking, which has decided our way of being and the experiences that we have experienced. You see, I need us to understand that affirmations is not just saying words to yourself like, I am rich, I am wealthy, and leaving it at that. And a lot of you have already probably tried that and it hasn't been working for you, and you're wondering why. And one of those reasons could be that there is no conviction behind that. There is no faith. There is no sense of knowing. There isn't any emotion or energy behind the words that are coming out of your mouth. You see, a lot of us, especially if we were born in certain circumstances to where we weren't born in a wealthy family, and we're trying to reprogram ourselves to actually see the truth, which is that we are all inherently abundant thanks to the divine source that we all come from. It's just a matter of whether we are able to tap into that specific reality or that way of thinking or not, right? So if we're trying to reprogram ourselves for wealth, it's easier for us to believe that we are poor than we are wealthy if we're focusing on the external instead of the internal. So you're saying an affirmation like, I am wealthy, but you may live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 10 siblings. You don't feel wealth. You don't see the wealth. But the thing about it is, the affirmation is like any other tool on this planet. Let's say, for example, you want to cook something, right? Okay. You can't cook without the proper tools. You can't make that meal come into fruition for you to eat if you don't have the proper tools to make the meal, right? But in addition to having the proper tools, you also need to be present, right? So with affirmations, if you're not putting the energy behind it from you, that's inside of you, that spark, that divine spark, that energy, that power that lies within all of us, that God power that we have within. If we're not putting that into backing our affirmation, which is the tool to creating the reality that we want to manifest, it's not going to come to fruition. So if you're not there to use the tools to make the meal, you won't eat. You'll go hungry, right? So think of it like that. And I don't know if that was a bad analogy or if you were able to grasp the point that I'm trying to make, but ultimately, affirmations is a tool to reprogram your subconscious mind, usually for the better. A lot of us are unconsciously taking in so many different things, whether it's our culture, our world, our parents, our family members, so many different things. Your subconscious mind is always taking in information or things around you, whether you realize that or not. So even in your sleep, if you're playing certain things or people are saying certain things, your subconscious is taking in all of that, even though you are unconsciously aware. You're using an affirmation to pinpoint what exactly it is that you wish to experience on this physical plane. And by doing that, you are also reprogramming your ways of thinking, which reprograms your way of being and reprograms the experiences that you experience. So instead of having thoughts of lack, limitation, victimhood, or being poor, you are using affirmations to cultivate a mindset of prosperity, success, happiness, wealth, abundance, etc. And so through doing that, you will experience the experiences of a prosperous person, of a successful person, of a wealthy person, etc. So if you are always allowing the world to tell you what you're capable of, allowing the world to tell you what you can and can't do, allowing the world to tell you there is not enough, there is limitation, there is lack, etc., that is exactly what you will begin to think. That is how you will feel, and thus it will become something that is normal for you. Those experiences are exactly what you will experience. And if you're at the point in your life now where you are wanting to experience prosperity, you are wanting to experience something different, you have to accept that your way of thinking may be incorrect. You have to accept that what you consider normal may not be in fact normal, but something that was unconsciously programmed into your subconscious mind. And, you know, as I talk about this, I was reflecting recently on why I've been having dreams for the last few years on, I don't want to get this video to get taken out on YouTube, so I'm going to say the A word, right? Why have I been having dreams of me being or someone else being, right? Is because, and it's something so minor, Law and Order. It's a show that I grew up watching in my household. And so when I moved on my own, it's something that I still watch, right? I haven't watched it recently, lately. No, I haven't been consuming it, which is probably why I don't think about it like that anymore. But when I was having those types of dreams, when I was having those types of conversation, I didn't even truly realize that where it stemmed from was the fact that I would fall asleep every single night to Law and Order, saying it's my comfort show. But that comfort show is based off horrible crimes. It's based off, you know, negativity, low vibrations, you know, things that you wouldn't want to ever happen to anybody, including yourself. Yet for some reason, I found comfort in it. And I think I found that comfort in it because it reminded me of home or where I grew up. I grew up watching that with my family. And so it's just something that I unconsciously was programmed to like and enjoy. And so I would fall asleep to the TV on, playing that every night, and then wonder why I wake up with the dreams that I have. And I noticed the pattern. Whatever I would fall asleep watching, it's 9 times out of 10 what I would dream about. So if it was something negative happening, I would have a dream of it. Now, everyone doesn't experience this, but I think most of us do. It may not be a dream, but it may be an action. It may be a conversation or a thought that you're always thinking and you're wondering why you always thinking it. Or sometimes you may not even realize that you think in that certain way, but that certain way came from what it was that you were consuming. And so I stopped playing negative, violent things at night before bed, before I go into the internal. Instead, I would play high vibrational music, high vibrational sounds, rain. You know, I would listen to spiritual lectures and things like that. And I noticed a difference in my dreams, less nightmares. And so that kind of plays a role into your experiences that you experience in life. You are unconsciously taking in subconsciously all of the information that is being thrown at you because you are not aware. You're not self-aware. You're taking in things from your parents, your friends, social media, influencers, the world, the news, the movies, the TV shows, all of that goes into your subconscious mind because the subconscious mind never sleeps. And because you are not aware of what you are allowing to be put into you, you're not aware of why certain things are happening in your life. A lot of the experiences that we have been created by us. You see, a lot of us search on YouTube or we research or we want to figure out how to manifest, right? And I don't want to sidetrack, but no one needs to teach you how to manifest. You've been manifesting since before you entered this plane. You've been manifesting since you've existed in this reality. You've just been unconsciously manifesting these experiences that you're having, even the negative ones most of the time when it's not related to karma, but that's a conversation for another day. You see, it's not about how to manifest. It's about, I would say is most of us need guidance on reprogramming our subconscious mind, getting guidance on how to stay the path so that we may see or experience or have what it is that we desire. If we want more prosperity, abundance, health, wealth, abundance, which most of us on this planet desire, we're looking for someone to help us be on the right path to continuously attract those things rather than wanting them to teach us how to manifest. Because you already know how to manifest. You do it through your thoughts and your actions. Thought, action equals manifestation, creation on this physical plane that we are in. But you see, you want to begin to use your affirmations to reprogram your mind, right? So you don't want to be saying affirmations or saying them just as words. A lot of us use words and we don't even know the meaning behind it. There is no power behind it, right? You don't want to just say affirmations like, I am wealthy, I am abundant. And then you have no feeling, no energy, no conviction behind the words that are coming out of your mouth. And therefore, if you've been in a situation or you are currently in a situation where this is something that you are experiencing, and this is why you may be wanting to give up affirmations or think that it's fake or it doesn't work, is because you don't have the conviction behind what it is that you are saying. You see, affirmations is a form of reprogramming yourself to understand that all that it is that you desire, you already have internally. You are a part of the Most High. You are a part of the infinite intelligence. We all are. That power resides within us. When we are so used to looking at things on a 3D level, on a third dimensional level, on the physical plane, that if we don't see the wealth by tomorrow, by next week, or in a month, we don't think we are wealthy. And so we can be saying these affirmations for years and years and years, but if we've never put in the work to reflect upon what it is we're saying, to do the inner work, the journaling, the meditation, to reflect, to cultivate a change within our way of thinking, then that affirmation is thus powerless. That tool is useless. And if those around you have a lack, limitation, separation mentality, those are the exact same experiences that you will experience in your life, right? Leading you further and further away from abundance, from wholeness, from love, from success, from wealth, etc., which is what most of us want to experience, right? And so I want a lot of us to get out of that lack and limitation mentality. You see, the world mind is always going to tell you whatever it's going to tell you. But that doesn't mean that you have to consume it. You don't have to agree with it. You want to reprogram the way you think. You want to be the one that's choosing what it is that you consume and the ways that you will think, because the way that you think decides the actions that you do, and the actions that you do and the ways that you think create the experiences that you experience. Thought, action, manifestation. That's exactly how it works every time. So initially, when I got into affirmations, I was skeptical at first. I was like, how is me saying these words like I am wealthy going to help me experience that? I was skeptical at first because you can't help but be skeptical, especially if you are, for example, living in a 2-bedroom apartment, it's 10 siblings making $8 an hour. There is nothing in you that feels abundant, that feels wealthy. So you saying affirmations may seem stupid. It may seem silly, but that's because you're looking for something external. You know, I watched a lot of videos and interviews and documentaries with a lot of people who attained all it is that they wanted to attain in life, even wealth. And this one man caught my attention. is when he said, I have the money, I have the family, I have the love, but something's missing. And that something was his spiritual growth. Spiritually, he felt like there was more beyond the physical, right? And there is, but a lot of us fail to realize that because we are programmed by our society to be so physical that we don't even realize that there's a whole universe within us, right? And so you have to change your thoughts from being focused on the external and putting more energy into cultivating that type of mindset, that way of being internally. And thus your internal will decide your external. Whatever you feel internally about yourself, about the world, about others, is what you will externally experience. And so you use affirmations to internally reprogram your subconscious mind to be in a wealth, prosperity, happiness, abundance, health mentality, despite world conditions, despite your current conditions, despite what anybody says. Now, with patience, affirmations, consistency and persistence, and a sense of knowing, you are able to experience what it is that you want to experience in this life, despite what anybody says. The universe will always give you exactly what it is that you are looking for, even if you're unconsciously aware of it. Okay? So when you are doing your affirmations, instead of just taking simple, bland sentences like I am abundant and I am wealthy, you cultivate that into something more. But you want your affirmations to resonate with you so deeply, to resonate with what it is that you want to experience. Be precise, be exact, and you want to be consistent in saying them, not just saying them in the mirror to say them, but in reflecting upon the affirmations that you say. So if you are in a mirror, for example, saying to yourself that business comes to you in an abundant manner, consistently, effortlessly, endlessly now. If you are saying that to yourself, wow, there was a tongue twister, you want to reflect upon that. Take a moment. Do you actually feel that? And if you don't, why don't you feel it? And then dig deeper into the why. Dig deeper into the why don't you feel it? Not just the physical things that you see, but internally, why don't you feel that you will experience those things? What is holding you back? You see, analyze your thoughts. Become more self-aware. Why do you think the way that you think? When did this type of thinking first begin? And if not when, how do you overcome the type of thinking that you have? How do you pull yourself out of lack and limitation? And then through examining, because I think that's where journaling plays a role. Journaling allows you to clearly jot down what it is that you are exactly feeling and thinking so that you can kind of work through all of the mental fog that's going on within your mind, to see your thought patterns, to see what needs to change, to maybe even figure out how to change it, to gain clarity. Journal to gain clarity so that you can begin to be confident and have that conviction in the affirmations that you are saying. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, she's saying say affirmations, but I don't believe what it is I'm saying. She says to journal, but no matter how much I journal, there's still those mental blocks, those feelings of lack. I'm trying to overcome focusing on the physical, but I can't. I'm physically surrounded by poor things, right? Here are some tips I can give you with that. When it comes to your affirmations and your lack of belief in them, instead of starting off with affirmations like, I have 100,000 a year. I make 100,000 a year. I am wealthy. Instead of starting out with big affirmations, start out with small ones, things that are more believable for where you are now. For example, instead of saying I am wealthy, say every day my actions are aligned with my creation of wealth and abundance for me and my family. Start off with affirmations that will bridge the gap from where you are now to where you desire to be or what you desire to experience. So, for example, in the business world, let's say it's a business owner who is trying to make their first dollar. Instead of setting a goal to make $100,000 in 6 months, the goal could be something more reasonable, more manageable, which is $10,000 in 6 months. You see, that $100,000 mark is realistic. It is possible, but For you, where your thinking is now, you are trying to reprogram yourself. You are trying to get yourself from lack and limitation to abundance and creation. Oh, that was smooth. I like that. Right. So write that down. You are trying to take yourself from lack and limitation to abundance and creation. And so therefore you want to start with baby steps. You want to start off with affirmations that resonate with you, but that also bridge the gap from where you are now to what it is that you desire to experience. So let's say you are experiencing poor experiences. The affirmation you may want to use is, instead of saying, I am wealthy right now, you could say, every day I am in the process of attracting and experiencing wealth, abundance, success, and prosperity. You would say affirmations that help you get a starting point, get a feeling for where you are headed, bridge the gap from where you are now to where you desire to be. You see, when you say these type of affirmations, they are easier to accept emotionally and energetically. They don't necessarily conflict what you are currently experiencing, but they leave room for growth. You're opening the door to prosperity, to wealth, to abundance, to change, to growth, right? So some things that you can do to establish that conviction, that faith behind the affirmations that you are saying, is to not only create affirmations that resonate with you spiritually, but to look for evidence of the affirmation that you are saying in your life. For example, when you say you are abundant or you are wealthy, well, what is wealth? Do you have wealthy experiences? Do you have a wealth of knowledge? Do you have a wealth of family, a wealth of friends? The same thing with abundance. Are you abundant in family and friends? Are you abundant in experiences? Do you have an abundance of food? Do you have a roof over your head? If you're constantly being a negative person, if you're constantly being low vibrational, if you're constantly complaining, you cannot expect to experience positivity if you are constantly in a lack and limitation way of thinking. Practice appreciation, practice gratitude, and through practicing gratitude, through consistency with saying your affirmations, through reflecting on your affirmations, through journaling, your ways of thinking and why you're thinking the way you're thinking, aka shadow work. Through doing these different things, you're able to become more self-aware, and through becoming more self-aware about the way you are thinking and your ways of being, you're able to change them for the better, and thus bettering your experiences, manifesting the things that you want to experience in your life. You begin to change, you begin to grow as a being. So I want to bring it back to thought, action creates manifestation. Think about it like this. If you are doing the things that an abundant, successful, wealthy, or peaceful person does, eventually you will become just like that. You will experience that way of life, right? So if you are engaged in, let's say, mindfulness, a lot of mindfulness practices, you take your spirituality seriously, you are meditating, you are reflecting, you are sitting in silence, you are grounding, you are doing all of these things consistently to grow from the person that you are now, which may be a person who is always anxious or afraid. You're trying to come out of that fear-based, anxiety-based mentality over to a more peaceful one. If you continue to engage in these actions, you can thus have the conviction or the sense of knowing behind the affirmations that you are saying. If you are saying you're a wealthy individual, constantly, effortlessly creating wealth and abundance, and your businesses are constantly growing and flowing, evolving and changing the world for the better, you need to be studying business, reading books, going to seminars, connecting with people of a like mind so that you can evolve your mind, evolve your way of thinking. Through doing these actions along with your affirmations, it is easier to accept the affirmation that you are saying. You can even then create more complex, more specific affirmations tailored to what it is that you exactly want as you grow in your thinking. So you go from creating affirmations that bridge the gap to affirmations that are out there, totally out there, but you believe or is possible for you, right? So you go from saying, I am effortlessly creating and manifesting 10,000 per month to I can make 100,000 in 6 months, no problem, effortlessly, endlessly now. To a person on the outside looking in, that 100K may seem impossible from where they're standing at this point in time. But for you, through your practices, through reflection, through journaling, through consistent effort, through thought and action, that manifestation is not too far out there for you. It is something you've experienced internally and something that you will experience externally very easily because your ways of thinking change. I mean, do you ever notice, or do you guys ever watch interviews with wealthy individuals? Do you go to seminars? So I've been to a seminar with some like-minded individuals. I am interested in going to more. I watch videos on people who are of a like mind. And if you are really consciously choosing to pay attention to what is coming out of their mouth, the average person may confuse confidence, a sense of knowing and conviction, with cockiness. But most of the time, that's not what it is. What it is that they've cultivated a sense of knowing. They've cultivated a sense of self-awareness. Most wealthy individuals, most abundant individuals are most peaceful spiritual teachers that you look up to, put in the work, put in the effort to change their way of thinking. All of this is mental. This physical realm that we are on is created through our mental ways of thinking, right? On an individual level and on a collective level. So a lot of individuals that are in a position that you wish to be in, or that you desire, really, you want to use the word desire, that you desire to be in, is through their consistent, persistent effort, through their discipline in cultivating a better mindset, through becoming more self-aware, to growing in confidence, to growing in their knowledge, to constantly reflecting on what it is that they need to improve in whatever areas about themselves to experience the life that they are experiencing. So if you admire someone who is wealthy, if you admire someone who is peaceful, you, instead of looking at some of the things that they say as cocky or non-humble, depending on who you are listening to, it may just be the fact that they've gotten to a point where they are more self-aware about themselves and they have put in the work to realize the God power within. And you may be at a point in your life where you are now, where you don't realize the God power within. You are still at a point in your life where you are allowing the world mind to tell you what you are capable of or what you aren't capable of. You're allowing the world mind to tell you what you can do or can't do. You're allowing your family to put limits upon yourself. You're allowing other people to make you put self-limitation upon yourself. You see, you use affirmations to take off the self-limitation, to take the limit off of the y'all. A lot of us have the habit of putting limitations upon ourselves and putting limitations on the creator of the balanced universe. All things are possible. All things. It's just your inability to realize that, to understand that, to comprehend that. The conscious mind always wants to understand the how, but you don't have to understand the how. As long as you have a sense of conviction, a sense of knowing that what it is that you desire to experience, what it is that you desire to have, what it is that you desire to be, or whatever. When you have that knowing, it is going to happen for you, regardless of what the world thinks, regardless of what they say, regardless of what your family thinks. Use these tools to better yourself. Focus upon cultivating a better mindset. You want to change your ways of thinking, and thus you change your life. Take off the self-limitation. Take the limit off of the Most High. Stop putting your limitations on the creator of the balanced universe. Stop letting people put their limitations upon you.